Here's your smart fact of the day. One of the things that we've been listening to of late is how Bollywood is failing, right? And how Tollywood is succeeding. This year, apparently 77% of Bollywood releases flopped at the box office. Cinema halls have been just very weirdly quiet. And one hit like Brahmastra, which was declared a hit by all the trade pundits, has come as a big sigh of relief for most people who are associated with Bollywood. Welcome to Smarter with Sid. In today's episode, what we are trying to figure out, what is making movies tank at, the theater? And is there a way out? Have things permanently changed? And what is the future of the film industry in India and even abroad? Let's go. So I think that we need to understand the context over here. The context here is that movies across the world are being challenged at the theaters. And India is no exception. I think the whole thing started with Salman Khan's release, in my head at least, being released on OTT. And I forget which one it was. Was it Amazon? Was it Netflix? I forget. But it somehow just brought Bhai down to size, if you know what I'm saying. There was a certain grandeur of Salman Khan movies in the theater wherein you could see him do amazingly superhuman things, but it just seemed very silly when you saw it in the comfort of your home. There was no whistle blowing, nothing. So that was, I think, the first nail in the coffin in my head. The second nail in the coffin was the prolonged COVID sort of lockdown also changed people's behaviors, and they kind of got used to seeing a lot of excellent content on their laptop or at home, essentially. And then when, things opened up, people were expecting to go back into the theaters and enjoy themselves. But I know at least trade pundits were. And we didn't see that happening at all. I think that one of the core aspects was that there were only certain kinds of movies that were being accepted. Now, let me kind of give you my own personal experience that I had. Just a few days ago, I was in India and, I was seeing some OTT as usual. I love watching some European series now on Netflix and so on and so forth. But I moved to the UK and I had two experiences of the entertainment kind. And both of them have left a mark on me. The first one, which is a movie I saw, Ticket to Paradise, starring George Clooney and Julia Roberts. And it was at the Odeon in Richmond. When we saw the film, I just realized that there were only 4 or 5 people in the theater. Now, it was a weekend, but just few people. Maybe it was a flop film, who knows? But not really. I mean, this was a big star sort of thing. And I think almost every theater was running empty. Guess which wasn't? Guess which film wasn't? It was one of those Marvel superhero sort of things that was running to a fairly decent house. My second entertainment experience was when I went to see a music concert just yesterday, actually, and I saw Machine Gun Kelly in action. And this was a packed event, right? Teeny boppers enjoying a wonderful time, some really good music, the works. And while I might have certain aspersions as to the production values of that specific concert, there was no denying the fact that it was A, marketed well, and B, it was certainly resonating with people. I think there were about 25,000 people who had come in to see Machine Gun Kelly. Now, the reason why I bring these two in contrast, side by side, is because it just begs us this question. Unless and until it is live and it is unique, why would I go into a crowded place with a lot of people unless and until I am able to enjoy it as a spectacle and maybe even have some tribal elements to it, where people are like cheering on and creating pits wherein people can go and dance and stuff like that. Movies afford none of that. I could have seen the same Ticket to Paradise on Netflix or on Amazon or wherever, and I would have enjoyed it. I would have probably enjoyed the film more if I was seeing it on, an OTT channel. Why is that so? And I believe that there is a certain thing that we all have decided as customers, and that is playing out over here. So what we have decided is essentially, I can watch a lot of emotional dramas and love stories and, human interest stuff in the privacy of my home, or maybe even in my room. And probably that is my preferred way of consuming content like that. And if you put out a movie like that in the theaters, it probably, because of behavioral changing stuff, is not necessarily going to work. Lal Singh Chadda, the Forrest Gump remake, I don't think it worked because it was focused on sentimentality. Sure, it was larger than life and it had its star cast and all, but did not work. It's quite possible that the only thing that works is something like a Brahmastra, or maybe a politically sensitive topic like the Kashmir Files, maybe, wherein you want to showcase the fact that you're trying to enjoy a film like that for reasons which go beyond the love interest, the storyline, the sensibility. So when you go into the Marvel universe, you've bought into that Marvel universe and you're seeing something which is a spectacle. And the signs are very obvious for all of us. If it is live, like a music concert, people are going to see it. If it is a spectacle worth seeing, 3D effects or lots of people coming in, then maybe the risk is reduced. But if it's a normal story, today I think our behaviors, because of the pandemic, have reasonably shifted towards watching them from the comfort of our homes. If I have to even delve back deeper, about a few years back, I used to wonder why theater in London, which is so beautifully done and all of that, was focusing only on the remaking of films. So, Mamma Mia, which was based upon, I suppose, a film that was made, or I don't know whether it was vice versa, but it was based upon something that was already popular. Or The Lion King is a great example, and so many more, right? So many more already famous movies that were converted into plays, and no new original plays were being played. And I kind of thought that, okay, it makes sense for people to do that because at least it is reducing the risk for a new play to come out. And plays were increasingly becoming more and more difficult to sustain for either Broadway or for the theater scene out here in India. I think it is almost comatose now, the theater scene. But what I did notice was that there was a smart business model at work. And that smart business model was the de-risking of the product by focusing on a specific niche, which was like, if there's a movie, then you make a play out of it. Now, just see, and if you can draw the thread from this de-risking of the model to what we are seeing right now. And what we are seeing right now is that you will see more and more films that are released in theaters, which are big. So Tollywood does that. So I don't think that the people who are actually saying that, no, this is made for the masses and people are, gravitating towards those kind of films and Bollywood doesn't make those films. There is a grain of truth in that because sensibilities of the newer filmmakers have also changed towards the OTT kind of thing, right? Towards Netflix and Amazon. But the bigger truth over here is that they succeed because they're spectacles. They're spectacles, and the creating of a spectacle is the de-risking of the business model, unless and until you're going live. And of course, the metaverse is going to change everything, isn't it? But till that time, I suspect that we are going to see releases in theaters focusing mainly on spectacles or multi-hero mega Marvel universe sort of situational movies, and the softer emotional sort of movies are going to be relegated to OTT. I'm not sure whether that's a bad thing. Every business model goes through transitions, every business goes through transitions, and that seems to be what is playing out right now. So expect to see Spider-Man in the theaters, but expect to see something which is like a love story in the comfort of, your house. Not bad, I'd say. Well, I hope you liked this episode of Smarter with Sid. What I like to do is look at trends, make some observations that might help us, especially if you're in the media or marketing or consumer-oriented businesses, which a lot of my listeners are in, and see if it makes sense for us to kind of connect to this insight and use it in some way in the work that we do. And if you like episodes like this, do connect with me. I'm the Traveling Professor on LinkedIn and Instagram. And hey, if you like podcasts like this, first of all, like and subscribe to mine. And secondly, check out IVM. They've got a lot of wonderful, unique entertainment for you that you're not going to get into theaters for. On that happy note,